I have come today, beloved, to just bring word inspiration to you on this day to let you know that God is still real and that you can trust him in spite of what you see and in spite of what you're going through. Our trust is bigger than our trial. In Mark 2, verse 4, and when they could not come near unto him for the press of the crowd, they uncovered the roof where he was. And when they had broken it up, they let down the bed where the sick, the palsied laid. I just want to talk about get to Jesus by any means necessary. That's what I want to talk about. Get to Jesus by any means necessary. One of the things that we are learning to do as we navigate through this time, this tumultuous time that we're in, is we're learning more how to rely upon Jesus. I know that sounds rather cliche and it sounds rather rudimentary, but it is more and more impending that you learn to put your trust in Jesus. You cannot trust the financial institutions for which we invest in. You cannot put your trust in the political institutions. You cannot put your trust in other people. You cannot put your trust in things that even try to market your trust for them. Or those things are not reliable. One of the things that I'm learning as I get older is that you can always put your trust in him. That's what we find in this given passage. We find where there was a man who was sick and who was sick of palsy. And as a crowd of people gathered around the house where Jesus was, there was a man who was sick and he was lame and he needed to get to Jesus. His friends were very adamant about getting him to Jesus that he may indeed receive his healing. But as they were carrying him to Jesus upon a bed, when they got there, the crowd was so thick, was so heavy, that they could not get this man through the door of the house where Jesus was. So what these friends did is they went up on the roof and they cut a hole in the roof and they let this man down in the hole of the roof and laid him at the feet of Jesus. And it was there that this poor paralyzed man was placed in front of Jesus. And when Jesus looked and saw this amazing act, he healed the man. I want to go back and look at this for just a few moments. First, I think we ought to evaluate the faith of the friends. Look at their faith. Their faith was such that whatever is going on with this man, he had been paralyzed for years, we believe that Jesus can fix it. I want you to understand something, that your faith is the indicator that God connects to make things happen. That it is so important for you to have faith for God to tap into for the supernatural to become realized. There are so many people who live their life without faith. They do what I call stinking thinking. All right. Some of the most critical obstacles that we set up in our lives are the obstacles that we set up in our own minds. But it is so critical that you learn to live with faith. Living with faith is believing that God can do the impossible. God can do the unimaginable. God can do what others said can never be achieved. You got to live this kind of faith. You got to breathe this kind of faith. You got to walk this kind of faith. That when things happen, your faith has to kick in and say, God's got this. God's got this. Well, they had unbelievable faith because they knew that if we just get our friend to Jesus, that the matter would be corrected. Who is it that you have faith for today? Who is it that you're believing or interceding for on today? I know that you have faith for yourself, but do you have faith for somebody in your family? Do you have faith for somebody in your proximity that if you can just get them to the Master, some things in their lives will change? I would want to be your friend. I would want to have you as a comrade. I would want to have you as somebody that I can put my trust in, to know that you have enough faith in God that if I can just get to him, there's some things in my life will straighten out. So first, I wanted to look at the faith that is operative in the text. Then secondly, I want to look at the friends. I mean, my gracious, this man was lying on a cot. He was lying paralyzed. And I can see them taking that stretcher. You know, it's almost like one of those stretchers that if you had an accident in the middle of the street and the ambulance showed up, they'd come out with the little stretcher and put you on a stretcher and pick you up and get you to a place where you need to be. I can see them with the stretcher, carrying it with their hands, and four of them it had to be. It had to be four of them. I could see four of them, two on the back and two on the front. I could see four of them carrying this man, saying, we're going to get our buddy. We're going to get our buddy to Jesus today. And I could see them carrying him. But I want you to know that I can see four friends carrying this man to get to Jesus. Aren't those good friends? I want to know what kind of friend would go through this kind of trouble for you? Who is it in your circle? Who is it in your proximity? Who is it in your sphere that you have that you know that if you go down, they're going to still carry you? And the reason I've raised this question is because when it comes down to relationships, we have a deficit. We have a deficit. Some of us are in a pandemic for relationships. We have isolated ourselves. We have built an island around ourselves. We love being by ourselves. This pandemic, when it hit, you know, we were already dealing with this secretly. We already had fake friendships and we already got together with people on fake basis because we felt like we had to do it. We felt like we had to be social and we had to act like we were part of things. And now the pandemic hit, we actually use it as an excuse. But can I tell you something? You cannot live in this world alone. John Donne declares that no man is an island entire of himself. A man is a piece of the continent and part of the main, and cloud be washed away by the sea. Europe is less, every man's depth diminishes me. So don't ask of whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. You cannot be an island unto yourself. The question is, if you were lying flat on your back, what 4 friends do you have that you know you can depend on to get you to Jesus? Hang on to that, because if you don't have 4 friends, you got to do some work. You got to reach out to some people. You got to develop some relationships. You got to call some people and text them and not wait until you want something to call and check on them. You can't wait until you want something and need something and wait until it's convenient for you. Relationships happen before that. People can sense when you're using them for just your good. Relationships are twofold. It's me getting something from you, but it's also you getting something from them. Are you understanding me? What 4 friends can you call on to carry your bed to Jesus? And so it is that you look at the faith, then you look at the friends, but then you look at the fight. They had to fight through the crowd. And when the crowd was too much, they got up on the roof and cut a hole, and they dropped him down in the midst of the hole. Oh, my God. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine all of the dust and all of the noise that was being made and the danger that they went through to get this man to Jesus? I mean, understand that they ran through some risk. They ran through some risk to get him to Jesus, but they fought through their challenges. They fought through the obstacles. They fought through everything that they had to fight through to get him to Jesus. My question today is, where is your fight? Why are you letting things stop you from achieving what it is that you need to achieve? Where is your fight? Why are you letting the first error knock you back down? You have been drawing your plans on the napkin for the past 5 years, and the first obstacle that comes, you mean to tell me you're throwing the napkin away? Where is your fight? You mean to tell me you have put your notes in your cell phone, in your iPhone for the past 3 years? You got a plan, you got a scheme, you know exactly what you're going to do to get your grind on. And the first time the bank tells you no, the first time they deny your loan, the first time they tell you that they can't do what you want to do, you have given up hope. Where is your fight? You got to fight through some things to get where you need to be. Sometimes an early rejection sometimes keep you from a later hurt. That's why always rejection does not necessarily mean rejection. It just means that God is pushing you from a place of pain to a place of purpose. And in the other place, in that next place, is where your ground is, where he's already prepared a place for you, green pastures for you. So stop looking at it as rejection and see it as God moving you to a new destiny. Are you understanding what I'm telling you? That when you fight through some things and don't give up so easily, this is not the season to be committing suicide because somebody quit you. Somebody decided to choose somebody else over you. The devil is a liar. You better keep yourself and keep your mind, because the best is still yet to come. Greater is he that is within you than he that is in the world. If they don't see the beauty in you, you better see it in yourself. So then, beloved, as I bring this message to a close, I want you to understand this one thing, that by any means necessary, you got to get to Jesus. And by any means necessary, you got to get others to Jesus. That's the message that we must spread today.